There we go. Good morning, everybody. Talk about a stress attack. We don't know why, we're not sure, but thank you so much for waiting and being patient, because now we are here. I'm just going to find, I was ready at 5 to 8. So you can imagine my pulse rate about now. Not great. Okay.
Not to mention mine.
Okay, thank you for your 2 bits. You can go shovel mulch now. It's like, Robert, go away. No, Robert, come back quick, it's not working. Robert, go away. No, come back quick. Anyway, good morning, everybody. And you know what? For all of that drama and palaver, this morning is really just a little bit of a show and tell, because I have got ready some paper printouts of my new fabric collection to show you. And maybe just a couple of little specials, but this morning is really just a show and tell, and I wanted to share it with you because you're my special Facebook people, so it's all good. Hey Rob, before you do go and mulch, can you turn the heater off please, because it's a bit hummy this morning and it's not that cold. I don't know where you are, but it's actually not that cold. All right, before we get started, may we please just say thank you to everyone that's waited 7 minutes past 8 o'clock. Good morning, Kayleen, Kathy, Sue, Diane, Yvonne, good morning. Maureen, good morning. Did you all have to go and get an extra cuppa? I'm halfway through mine. Louise is here, Sally's here, Nancy's here. Did I say Maureen? Maureen, good morning. Nancy's here. Rita's in the building. Ginny, can you see her? Or you can't see her. She's just out of shot. She's sitting over there on her little wool mat. Chris Martin, I can see you are here and welcome. Good morning. Sue Porteous. Oh, you got an extra cuddle time, Robin. And then when I come live, you go, maybe not. Donna, hello, welcome. Oh, from a warm UK. Yes, I believe it's very, very hot, and I feel for you, because I know in the UK you are not set up with a lot of air conditioning, and that double glazing keeps all the heat in. I know. Yvonne, good morning. Helen Walsh, I can see is here. Gadget's in the building. Carol, I'm not sure. Internet stuff. I'm not sure. What did I put in my back pocket? Oh yes. I'm not sure what it was this morning. It was like, I don't know, it just threw a hissy fit. It kept wanting to do a test run instead of a live broadcast, so I'm not sure. Good morning, Doreen. Your fabric's in the mail. Good morning, Denise. Good morning, morning. Okay, so as I said this morning, it's not a demo day. Mind you, I have stitched my flowers for our purse, and so that now needs to get washed and pressed out, and then I've started on the other one. So I have been working on that little thing, and that'll come back with us on Wednesday. I'm sorry I haven't got any further than that, but yesterday, I must admit, the garden did call, because it was a beautiful day, and if I don't knock off about 2 hours a day now in the garden, it's not going to be ready for you in spring when you come to visit, so we've got to get it done. And there have been various other things. Anyway, show and tell. So, I'm going to get the story right. I can make it up for now, but I'm going to get the story right with accurate facts before we actually get the fabric here. YOMU started with one line out of Evie Ashworth's mouth, who was the design director for Robert Kaufman, and I was saying, you know, just pre-COVID, and that is actually not correct. And if I go back as far as I can, it's older than Melba. All right, so it's more than 10 years since I was sitting at a, and I've got to get the right one, if it was a spring one, if it was Houston, and what year it was, when I was sitting on my booth, they call them booths in America, not stands, sitting on my booth at one of the trade shows, and I would have had with me I would have been launching maybe a Culture Club or maybe just after Culture Club collection, but it was definitely pre-Melba. And Evie came and sat on my stand and we had a good chat and a coffee, and she looked up at my Oriental Baltimore and she's, oh, that's what, Robbie, you had to get down for me this morning was the Baltimore. It's up there. It's too late. Don't worry about it. If you go down, can you do me a favor? Go down to the table right down the front, and underneath the table in the basket, there is the pattern for the Baltimore. She came up and looked at my Oriental Baltimore and she said, and I can't take off her beautiful Californian accent, she said, you know, that'd make a great panel. And that's all she said, and walked away. Was she serious? So I went back to her and I said, do you want it? And she said, yeah, we do. We do, yeah. Don't try it with the camera. You're in shot. Thanks.
All right.
I went up and said, are you serious? And she said, yeah, I think we should do it. And I said, okay. And that was when I was doing the Culture Club. So we've done Dutch, Russian, Indian, and then we were going to go Japanese and do this. Somewhere in there between all the internal politics and plans and preferences at Kaufman, they changed their mind, but I didn't get the memo. So I spent the whole next 6 months before the next market designing up all the blocks, designing up all the the Mons. I'll show this in a tick. And then I went back to present the collection at the next market, and literally I got the line, did you not get the memo? And Evie was very apologetic, but I was really cross because I had spent a lot of time. And I have all of the original sketches somewhere. They've been put up high in a cupboard when we've moved, so I'm going to find them for you. And I think for posterity we should have them out. So, because they're not that good, they're pretty bad actually. So I got really cross. I came home and threw it in the cupboard, and that was the end of the Culture Club altogether. So it never went ahead. And then jump forward, I did Summer Palace, and then I went, you know what, we're going to do it. And that was pre-COVID. And so we started designing it, and then we, again, had to shelve it. So it's a long, long time. So this is the original, that's my Baltimore. It's actually hanging up in the shop at the moment. It is available as a pattern. If you wanted to buy it, you can and make it up. And we have run it in the A Quilter's Life, and we're now doing the Japanese Baltimore, which has got different Mons, as you know. So there it is in all its glory. So we pulled it out again and resurrected it. And in that time, it's sort of, I've switched between design stylists. I had a gorgeous guy called Jimmy, and he moved interstate, and so he doesn't work at my fabric agent anymore. He did all the original artwork, and then I have Alicia now that works with me on all of my styling of my designs and preparing them to go to the art studio, wherever that art studio may be. Then we got it all ready to go on that new hybrid machine that I printed this on. And the hybrid machine, I just had a big breakdown. No more, not for indefinite. So then we had to, so we'd taken it from screen printing, moved it to digital artwork, now we've moved it back. I can't tell you, the poor thing has been going on forever. But now we are screen printing this collection in South Korea, and it's the same company that prints my other fabrics in Japan, and it will be here very soon. So the final artwork is done, and we are now waiting for the strike-offs to come from the factory. Now, all of my As Quilter's Life family have been through the trials and tribulations of getting it to this stage, and they'll get to see a few more sneak peeks as the samples and things arrive. But now I'm at the point where we need to start designing all of the quilts and projects that we're going to do with the collection before we actually get our hands on the cloth. All right, so on the wall behind me, you will see some of it up there. So you can see on the wall, there are, I'm going to work backwards, there are 3 ombres, because you know how much I love them. So I had to do it, didn't I? We had to have some. So I'll show them to you in entirety in a moment, but you can see I've got a new ombre coming, and it goes from red, orange, yellow, and then down to the other end. And if you just sneak through here, I'll take these off, and you can see this is a green one, and this goes from like the jade green, it's the jade green we had in the Summer Palace Jade Dragons, and it comes all the way through into an apple green and mint and through to cream. And then we have a really dark, rich aqua, and that comes through into a periwinkle, and then it comes down into a lilac, and down through into a cream, and a little bit of yellow at the end. So they're up on the wall, and next to them, I've got some on the counter as well, but next to them you can see a little bit on each end of these smaller ones here of the stripe. And so you know how Jason does 4 10-inch borders across? I've gone for 6 6-inch, so this is the size it's actually going to be. So we get 6 of those across a bolt, and then we can use them to do all those wonderful one block wonders, hexagonal kaleidoscope things we're going to do. And if you've got any questions, please just pop them in comments, and I will have a look for you in a tick. What have I done to my own phone? I don't know. I've done something weird. Here we go. Right, so if you've got any questions, just let me know. So that's this one here. You've got to see a larger one over there. That belongs to something else. It's a really tight little range. There are only 7 fabrics in the range. There are 2 with the 2 different colorway border stripes, so this one and the other one. And then there are 3 of these, and then there's 2 panels, 1 in each color. So let me give you a look at what we did with my Oriental Baltimore, and then we turned it into a panel. So you can see here, I've put a larger section of border, top and bottom, and then you've got the Baltimore Mons have been turned into the symbols in the middle. So this border that you can see here, top and bottom, it looks really small on here, but that's actually the size of it that you can see over on the side. So it's larger than the one that we've got in the border stripe, and I wanted to do that so you've got different scale pieces that you can use if you want to cut the panel all up. And the Mon simples, these in the middle here, these are, what are they? They're about 7 inches across, and you've got 1.5 inches in between. So you've got plenty of room to come down and cut these down if you want to. If with the actual Baltimore, if you remember, we've got, with the quilt, I have in the little intersections here in the sashing 4 little symbols that are spring, summer, winter, spring, summer, autumn, winter, we get it in the right order, that are here. And what I've actually done is taken those and I've popped them along the top and bottom of the panel. So you'll be able to chop them off and use them for something else if you want to, and in a border or something. But we're going to have a lot of fun. And I must say, I'm kind of hoping that you come to me as well when we get going and saying, Leesa, does this fit in this quilt? How about making this quilt with it? Because that's where I'm at the moment. Brand new quilt designs, but also having a look at the ones that we've had before, and maybe there are some that we can use. And the classic would be the Oriental Blue work and the Japanese gold work stitcheries, which are the scaled down embroidered versions of both the Baltimores. We're actually going to be able to use that as a classic layout to cut down the Mon symbols and lay them over the ombre for the background. And I'm hoping that looks really good. So that's the actual size of the top and bottom. And I've actually got one here to cut up and put together. So we're going to look at that in a tick. First though, you can tell I'm really excited, can't you? I know. I'm a bit. It's just a relief. Good morning, Rhonda. First of all though, just some little specials for today, and I've grabbed out all the ones that I know are going to look great with this fabric when they arrive as well. So way back when I don't know, how many years ago did we do the fan print for Melba? 4, 5, somewhere in there? When we started doing this little print, which is 0005. It's a bit scary now because we're up to 30, 31 and 32, and this is 5. So there's been a lot in between, which is, of course, a lot of numbers for under the Australian sun. Way back when I did these, I had in my head already this collection. So that's why I loved it, because it is the stylized gum flower from Melba, but when you put it all together like this, it looks like an oriental fan, and I was really hoping that this would work. So that is going to be used with this collection, and in fact it may even go, it will go in the sample cards that I send out to my shops that I supply fabric to with it, because it'll look really good with it. And when we did print it, the last time round we printed it, I printed extra just on a whim because I knew we'd be able to use it. So that one will go, and this is on special for you today, and it's only for Facebook viewers. It's not going in a newsletter or anything else. It's just for you if you've watched the show, and this is available at this price until midday on Tuesday, because Susie's back. We're back in the routine. Midday Tuesday for combined orders, and this on special, then I'm going to take it down. So same goes for red fans, and then this is, I get really soppy, this is really symbolic to me to have this fabric on my stand here with this, because this is, do you remember this? This is Colour Movement, and it was Kona Bay, and I think I've told you before, when Doug decided to close down Kona Bay, and it wasn't in the best of circumstances. It was unfortunately a business decision. It wasn't in his heart to shut it down. Jason bought the rights to print this particular design, and it was one that, oh my goodness, I would have had it. I don't know, you've probably got a stack in your stash as well. It's a beautiful weave of a kimono silk design. It's really lovely, and quite interesting. A lot of people love using this with their indigenous prints because of the design and the little dots, but it's actually an antique kimono silk design. And so when I first went to America to show Robert Kaufman Under the Australian Sun, I had a meeting with Kona Bay with Doug an hour before, and I actually showed it to Dougie first, and then I showed it to Robert Kaufman, and Doug took too long and I went with Kaufman. I always wanted Kaufman, but I would have been happy to go with Kona Bay as well. And so this is his, and so now to have this on the stand and it matches in with my fabric is really lovely, particularly because we're doing Japanese. Now you know that this is discontinued, but Gin, enough of the bell, mate. But I was really happy. I asked Jason if he still had some, and he did. So I've chosen 3 colours to go with this collection. That's on special for you today. You can also pop some Apellis wicker in with it, and that's the green one. And I don't know if I've marked down the wicker. I will double check it. And also the black with the grey is going to look fantastic, even if it's for the backing on quilts and things that are made with this. So they're all in, and then green. So this is apple green. This sits here. It all matches in, so this green will go. And I didn't even mention it, but same colour greens in both the summer colourway and the spring. So this one goes both ways. And this is garnet. So this is really lovely in Doug's. So it's like putting all my friends together on the wall, putting Doug and Jason on the wall together. Look at the marble in that. Isn't it beautiful shadowing? It's really good. Okay. All right, so that's that one. And I'm creating a pile on my desk. And of course, the cream fans. These are going to go with both of them. There are little highlights on the way through that's a little bit hard maybe for you to see. You'll get a closer look in a minute in here. So you can take it through and put the cream with either of them, right in the middle of the cherry blossoms and in the middle of the clematis flowers as well. So we'll pop this down here. Now I need to give you, thank you for indulging me this morning. Because, you know, we have to keep it all under wraps for so long. And now it's all, and then you have to go flat out and do it all. Let me pull these off. And you need to see what it looks like full scale. So, all of those days in primary school and in high school, sticky taping projects together, covering your exercise books with contact. Remember when we used to do that? I'm going to confess that was actually a really fun exercise for me on holidays. I loved contacting my books. It was really good. All right, here's the spring colorway, but you need to see it as the whole thing. And I've got one together. Poor Rob. Trying to get it to print out so that it all taped together properly was a little bit of a problem. Now where am I going to put this? Let's put this up here. So if I lay that there, can you see it okay? I've got to take it up. There you go. About there. Oh, it doesn't all fit. Never mind. I actually want to put it there so that you can see it up against just a little sneak peek of its friend underneath. There you go. You're too big. Right. There you are. So that's that one. And I know it's a little bit shiny. I apologize for that. But the paper that we use is beautiful and high gloss, and it gives us the colours to be super accurate. But you've got a little bit of a shine on it. But there you go, now you can see the whole thing to scale. So if you have a look at it in terms of how we're going to, I mean, obviously I will do a quilt, probably a rendition of Through the Window, so that we can get a really, just show the whole thing off. Good morning, Bridget. I always yell, don't I? Why do I do that? Because you're up there. Sylvia's up there too. Good morning, Sylvia. Right, I think I've got everyone else. Oh, Pam, good morning. Morning, Rosemary. Oh, lovely. We're going to cut it up, aren't we? We're going to do it as a whole one, Through the Window, but then I actually want to cut it up and break these down and pop the ombres in between. I want to take these off in rounds and applique them over the ombres as well. And then, okay, so those of you that have been around for longer than we care to admit, there was the Dutch panel pocket tote. We're going to do that with that. Cut down the panel, use it for all of the flaps, the pockets, the straps and everything. See, things like that we're going to do. And similarly with the with this one, twisted knitting bags, top and bottom. Use the ombres in between for all the little pin tucks. So you see what I mean? We'll use some of the patterns we've got and adapt them, and then I'll do some new ones as well for the kaleidoscope stuff. Carol said, what? Aw, thanks. I'm going to make a lot more room in my cupboard down here, Carol, to fit it all in. All right, so I'll just give you a little look at the other colorway, because Rob went and printed this for me. We found a little technical issue with the printing about joining them together. So this one goes here. So I thought if I just do this with you while you have a look, and then we can stick them together. Good morning, Liz. Thank you, Donna. You don't have to like it, but I'm really happy if you do. And I've made sure along the way that there are flowers that are not overlapped by something else, so that if you want to embroidery purse some of them, you can. I'm going to stick that there. What we do a little bit of tape there, and then we do a little bit of tape here. And I'll be doing a lot of cut and pasting this week, so instead of having real fabric to cut up, sorry if you hate the sticky tape dispenser noise. So I treat it like fabric to cut up and put on my design wall, so we can put it all together. See, this one and this one and these, they all sit above, so if you want to take them off and embroidery purse them over the top, you can. I have designs on doing some 3D work Eileen Campbell style as well, so I might go around some of these flowers and then layer them over the top onto these ones, because they're actually the same, and I've just turned them round, so we can do some 3D work as well. So, and it was really challenging to do the 2 different colour stories because I had the quilt in my head the whole time. Morning, Flick. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Pauline. You're so nice to me. So it became quite hard because the autumn leaves should be autumn colours, and the aster or poppies, depending on which way you want to call them, should be red. But then when you go to the other colourway, my leaves have to be purple and pink, and my poppies become pink. So you have to change your mind. The wisteria here is its true mauve, but then it's actually orange on the other colourway, and I had to get over that because it looks fine. It just may not be that colour in real life, but you can get some really nice orange coloured pea flowers. So that was okay. And then if I'm really sensible about it, Japanese mon symbols traditionally don't have any colour attached to them. They are at the whim of whoever is stitching them out in sashiko or etching them because they're family crests. So in the big wide world, it didn't really matter which colourway that we went for or which colours we decided to use. These will be printed, as I said, we were originally going digital until 3 weeks just before I went to Merimbula. There was a meltdown on the machine and with everybody else. And so now we are going back to screen printing. There are pros and cons to that. The pro is the intensity of the black, and it's what I usually use, so people will be used to seeing my fabric like that. It wouldn't have mattered either way. The downside is later on, is the volume that we have to print. But the factory has been fantastic in accommodating us at very short notice. There was one company, I believe, that was halfway through a print run. So that was very sad. And Jason Jason uses this machine as well. I don't think there's a lot of us that do yet, but so we've had to flick around and try some different things while they fix the machine. And I thought, oh, it probably maybe it just needs a spare part. Anyway, these will be printed as you're used to seeing my fabric printed. And maybe that's just serendipity that it will be, and I'm going to give you, so I'm just going to pop this on here so you can see what this one looks like. Have I got that right? I think so. Oh, just Robbie, there's just a little bit of metallic on that edge, and there's just a little bit there. He's done such a great job, so they all match up. Deanna's in class. Get to class, Deanna. Your class? Or are you in someone else's class? Oh my goodness. Alright, tape on the back. Anyway, this will give you just a little idea of what it looks like. There you go. I'm thinking, and you might be more over this than I am, but I'm really thinking about a stack and whack as well. I know that they're all finished and we're just going to cut them up and sew them back together, but I really think it would be super cool to have a go at a stack and whack, and that each of the mon symbols would make up a different square. So maybe we have, there's 9 symbols all together, so maybe we do, I don't know, 4 repeats or something, and then we end up with all these different stack and whack blocks. Well, I'll have a play with it on paper without cutting up fabric. Another advantage in doing it that way. And then that one will go under there. So I'll just keep going with this for a tick. So with those fabrics that I've popped up on the back wall, I will double check I've got the wickers on special as well for you. And then if you want to grab any of them confidently, knowing that they're going to go with this collection, They will not be on special after midday Tuesday because it's very important that it's not a big thing that they're on special. So grab some if you want them. Particularly not so much the colour movement. I got them on special from Jason, but definitely the fans will not be. How funny. I'm going to have this, the plan is actually have it for the first time to see it at the Melbourne exhibition. So it will be like, bye-bye Melbourne and hello YOMU. Oh, have I told you what YOMU means? And everything's under YOMU today if you're looking for it, those specials. Actually, are they? Yes, they are. Maybe not the wiki yet. YOMU means Leesa in Japanese. That's how you say my name in Japanese. And the story doesn't end with this one. It continues. So in March next year, we will have the Dutch collection. So it will be cultural influence and it will be Dutch, not Japanese. And that will be Margriet, after my Dutchy friend, of course. And so we're going on a big journey. When I first did Culture Club, it was take a trip around the world through your quilting, and that's what we're going to do again this time. But it's going to be Rob and I doing it, not for my mates at Kaufman. So July next year will be Elizabeth, so that will be the UK range, and that will be styled on Melba. So if you remember the brief for Melba, it was if William Morris and Dame Nellie Melba had a night together in the House of Liberty, that would be the love child. So I'm going to follow that brief again for the UK range, which of course will be called Elizabeth, and it will be styled on Melba. So this is the start of a year, and then all going to plan, everyone, all going to plan. Next year, when we have the Farewell Under the Australian Sun tour, because yes, that's not going back to print, as you know, then we will launch Matilda, which will be a new Australian collection. And not like Under the Australian Sun. It will be different, and we will start a new chapter with Australian prints for us. I'm going to be lazy now and just stick the sticky tape on the front. There you go. So I'll pop this one up on the wall. I've got the bottom border to go as well, but we won't worry about that for now. This is very dodgy. I'm going to turn it over and stick a bit more tape on. It was all right just sitting flat on the table, but it's not going to work. So get your thinking caps on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There is trouble. There is trouble in the building. Natasha, I can see you. You stay up for another 5 minutes, we'll have a chat, mate. Tasha's here from Natasha Makes. Alright. So we've got a long way to go, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Now there are collections planned out further than that, but and they only from the point was when I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, my brain will work on them for a little while before I go back to sleep. So there are others that go beyond that, but we need to start somewhere, so we better start with this one. Bear with me, I'm just going to put this up on, what do you reckon about, I'm going to have to overlay it over the border. I'll pop it about there. It's a Japanese Baltimore for later. Okay, let's about there. There you go. There's my baby. So I'll be keen to see which colourway is your favourite. And what we will do whenever we can, because there's 2 distinct colorways, we'll make each sample up in each one, and we will take it from there and see how we go. So there you go. You know, I found this morning, I found a funny thing. Looking forward to the Dutch. I know, Sylvia. Yeah, absolutely cool as you go. Yeah, Janine, absolutely. Funny thing happened when I was putting up the ombre this morning. I have colorways that I am comfortable working in, which is here, and then I have others that take me a little bit longer to get right. My little through the year print goes perfectly with this ombre and this one, and that was never planned. So you can see my head has all these colors in it, and really this print takes in both colorways, which is really strange. Didn't plan it, didn't happen like that. This was not working in my head very well, and I had to change this color. I was trying to go more periwinkle blue, and it just didn't work, so we went for the teal. But I have left a little bit, just a little bit of that periwinkle in the ombre, and I've also done that before because the periwinkle fans from Melba goes with it. So there's a few little segues still to come together. All right, so thank you very much for indulging me this morning, and I'm thrilled to be able to show it to you at this point, and so that you get an idea. And then I would love your input for any quilt designs or techniques or things that you would like see me use with this collection. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ruche this to death, aren't I? Yes, because it changes color and it's got metallic. And I don't know if you can see it up close, but I want to show it to you of what the metallic design is on it. So I've just trashed the stand. This, can you see that? It's actually the border print design as a metallic outline. So we just stacked the border print on top of each other. So when you get that, you'll see it's all of the flowers that are in the collection, but just as the outline. I can't believe I just ripped that off the wall. I'll just put that back up there. But really, anything that you think you want to see it used in or tried, now's the time to let me know. There are bags, of course there are bags. That, my friends, is the front pocket on a tote. It has to be. You know, so there's things that are just an obvious thing to do. And then I will go off and make sure we've got all the zips that match, all the zip pulls that match. I will go through all Jason's ongoing collections in Halcyon, Interwoven and Dip Dot and make sure we know what colours are our official coordinates from the beginning to go with it as well. So we'll do all of that. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me this morning and having a look. This is arriving in September. We will have it for the first time at the Melba exhibition. Tickets for the Farewell Melba exhibition go on sale this week. I booked the date to go live with the tickets as Amber's birthday, and I'm out all day for that. So if it does go live on Tuesday, it might be late. And if it doesn't go live Tuesday, it will go live on Wednesday. So we will make sure that you know. I'll post on Facebook when they're available. So that's the first time you're going to get to see it, which will be lovely and exciting and all of that. So I've done it again. I've lost all of my comments. Hang on a minute. There they all are. So is there anything else I need to do? Thank you, Donna. Thanks, Sue. Oh, you're all lovely. Thanks very much, everyone. And I will see you. When will I see you? Probably during the week. As I said, I've got Amber's birthday and we've got a big day getting these, the Melba exhibition up online ready to go. So I will just let you know when I'm back, okay? And I've got our purse ready to make up, all right? You have a fantastic Sunday, won't you? And a great week, and I'll see you really soon. All right, thanks everyone. Bye.